second to Shiraz in the popular reds of Australia is Cabernet Sauvignon. And these wines do tend to have kind of high tannins sometimes, high alcohol. They sometimes are Napa-like in their big fruit character. But there's one region that is known for spectacular Bordeaux varieties and Chardonnay, actually, and that is the Margaret River in the western part of the country in Western Australia. Now, in the 1970s, Margaret River started to be identified actually by a lot of people from California as being a place that they should think about planting grapes, but there hadn't been anything really prior to this. In 1972, Robert Mondavi, the very famed marketer and winery owner from California, came to Margaret River, and he met with Dennis and Tricia Horgan and went and walked the vineyards and looked at the sites and said, this would be a perfect place for a vineyard. This was the future spot for Leeuwin. Now, Leeuwin is absolutely famous. It's iconic. That happened in 1972. Robert Mondavi continued to mentor Dennis and Tricia, and then wound up by 1975 helping them identify how to plant a vineyard in Margaret River, which today is the Leeuwin Vineyard. So 3 generations later, 1 million awards. This is a very, very well-known and well-respected winery. We have Leeuwin Estate. This is the Leeuwin Estate Prelude Vineyards 2022 Cabernet from Margaret River. Now, in general, Margaret River has really won the respect of critics and of people just like regular wine drinkers because it has the ability to yield fruit that has balance and moderation. So it is both, fruity, and it also has good tannin, but not over the top. And it has a little bit of acidity, not over the top, none of that. So really Prelude is interesting because the big prestigious wine of Leeuwin is the Art series, but Prelude is kind of the early drinking. It's the prelude to the Art series, one could say. Super dark in color, as Cab often is, a little bit of a watery rim. That's always the tell for Cabernet if you're looking in a blind tasting ever. And it's kind of a crimson color, really beautiful. And we'll give it a spin around the glass and a sniff. So this has such typical varietal character. It's so pure, it almost seems like it's from New Zealand. So you have the blackcurrant, which is, if you don't know what that is, I usually say it's like blackberry and pear had a baby. There's violet, there's pencil shavings, there's graphite, there is cedar, lots of dark flowers here. It's very perfumed, which is generally a hallmark of some place that has a cooler climate. So let's take a sip. So delicious. It's a little bit farmyardy, even though it's very clean and fresh. All of the varietal character that I described, the blackcurrant, the plums, the cedar, the graphite, that's all there with a little bit of earthiness. And what I love is that this wine is light on its feet. This is not a heavy laboring Cabernet. This is something that is the opposite of a heavy oaky fruit bomb. This is something that has nice acidity. Underneath my tongue is watering. It has tannins, but they're not over the top. And it doesn't stick around. It's not heavy. It's not like alcoholic blackberry juice. It's not sitting there. It's refreshing. So again, another fresh take on Australian Cabernet Sauvignon, something that is a little bit lighter, a little bit fresher, something that would be great with food, with, of course, any beef or mushroom dishes or lentils. It would go really well with grilled foods. You could absolutely have this for a barbecue. You could just chill it down a slight bit, and then it would be really nice with, you could even have it with a heavier salad or something like that. But I think it'd do really, really well with grilled foods as we're moving into the summer months. What a great wine. And again, it's not overly done. It's not too heavy. It's minimal intervention. I think this, again, gives us a whole different view of what Australian wine is capable of. Margaret River, Oh, it is so great, and you should explore more bottles from that. But Leeuwin is really one of the top examples. It's one of my absolute go-tos when I have Australian Cabernet or anything actually from the Margaret River, the Chardonnay, or some of the Sauvignon Blanc blends. Fantastic wines.